friends, welcome back to my channel. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a book review and this time it's of Empire of Storms by Sarah J Maas. This is the 5th instalment / 6th if you're including the prequel in the Throne of Glass series, and wow, is this a honker. It's just shy of 700 pages and it does not stop. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars and read it in just under 9 days. Yeah, just under 9 days, so 9 days ish, depending on. And as the 5-star rating will suggest, I loved this book. There were a couple of days where I got really fed up with it, if I'm honest, simply due to the fact that it was so big and like my hands were killing me by the end of it. It kills your hands, this book, but I'm really glad I managed to get it in paperback instead of hardback, because hardback would have probably destroyed me even more. But yes, as the 5 stars does suggest, I really thoroughly enjoyed this book. I am loving this series, and I originally thought that this was the final book in the series. How very wrong I was. I said to my mum earlier, I am kind of now doubting that the 6th book is going to be the last one, partly because I just don't see how they're going to wrap it up in another 700 or 800 pages. If you've never heard of the Throne of Glass series before, it's a high fantasy series, and it starts off following a woman, about 17, called Selene Sardothien. She's an assassin, and she enters a competition to become the king's assassin, and if she wins, she lives. If she loses, she goes back to the mines and carries on being a slave. And this world just from there like grows and grows and grows and grows and grows into something that I think those of us that read the first book, second book, had no idea that this series was going to become. This world has just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And in some ways I found that very confusing, especially as it's been about a year since the previous book, which was, I can't even remember what the name is, let me look. The previous book was Queen of Shadows, and there's pretty much been a year between Queen of Shadows and Empire of Storms coming out. And there's so much world building that happens in this book, and there's so many new characters get introduced in this book, and it's incredible because you get to learn so much more about the world and the magic systems and the history. Yet at times I was sat there like, who are you again? Where are you from? Which other book you mentioned in? Are you from the prequel? Who are you? Especially towards sort of the last 50 pages, I was like, whoa, who are all these people? Where are they all coming from? I had to like rack my brains. But I watched a couple of other people's reviews, and it seems like I wasn't the only one that at times was very confused, because this world is totally just span and span and span and span. And everyone wanted that in the first book, so we all wanted so much to know so much more about this world, and so much more about this magic, and so much more about these characters and about what was going on. And we have that. I feel like it's just kind of happened so flipping quickly. Yeah, I've really enjoyed meeting all these new characters, and that is another thing which I loved about Empire of Storms, and that is that the amount of characters in this book and this series really grapples with and you start to learn about is huge, and all these characters are incredible, and it just introduces more person after person, character after character that you just fall in love with, which I absolutely adored. Like, Sarah J Maas is like the queen of secondary characters, but she makes them just as important as the primary, which I love. And she's also, I've said this from the beginning, Sarah J Maas and the Throne of Glass series as a whole is so great when it comes to females. Like, the females in this series just kick ass. And I was a bit scared when we got to like the 2nd or 3rd book, when we got to Crown of Midnight and Heir of Fire. I got a bit terrified, if I'm honest, because female characters, if you've not read this series, I'm sorry, female characters started to sort of die, and it was like, no, we're only going to end up with one female kick-ass female character and all the rest being male. But Empire of Storms and Queen of Shadows just ramped it back up. Like, the girls in this, there's Aelin / Selena, whatever we are calling her nowadays, there's Lysandra, there's Manon, there's Elodie, there's Ansel, who I'm really intrigued to learn more about, and even Maeve, who, despite the fact that she's like a cow, like she's a flipping bitch, is so kick-ass. Like, we don't like her, but she's a great villain. Like, she's so kick-ass, and all these women just continue chapter after chapter to get to like blow me away. Sarah J Maas writes them incredibly. She writes their friendships amazing. Like the friendships in this book, the female friendships in this book are to die for. They're so well written, they're so beautiful, like the way they trust each other and rely on each other and rely on each other in ways they don't rely on the guys, and they keep each other's secrets, is just beautiful. And it's definitely something which I wish was seen more in other series and maybe in like contemporary, not just literature but TV and film. It's the female friendships in this and the female characters in general are just incredible. So if that is something that you're looking for, if you want to see strong female protagonists just kicking ass, and this is definitely for you. And that is something which Empire Storm's like throttled it, like killed it when it comes to those girls. Like Sandra's chapters are some of my favourite, as she's taking part in the battles, especially the battle in Swords Bay, and is just wow. Like her chapters and reading from her perspective those battles, and the perspective of someone that's just on the total opposite end of the scale to all of the other characters, is amazing. And Manon's chapters had me on the edge of my seat. I am so interested to see where her storyline goes. These girls are just amazing. Elodie, I'm loving seeing how she's growing. I'm really intrigued to see who she becomes and who she becomes in the story, because at the moment she's sort of like a third level secondary, third, tertiary, maybe, whatever, character, isn't. And I'm really intrigued to see where she goes and where she grows and who she becomes. I'm really not necessarily enjoying her and Lorcan. I think that was very predictable to me. It was very, very predictable, which this story never has been for me. This series has never been predictable to me, apart from that relationship and where that developed into. Although by the end of it, did not expect it the Elodie and Lorcan to sort of end as it did by the end of the book. I did not see them getting to where they were and her like just hating his guts. I did not see that happening. But then sort of how it developed, that was quite predictable, and that is something which this series has never been for me, so I was a little bit disappointed with that. But the other relationships in this series I'm loving. Like, I'm just waiting for Aidan and Lysandra. Like, come on Sarah, come on, make it happen for me, please. And Manon and Dorian, I'm loving too. Like, I just want them to like join forces and be like king and queen and kick the world's ass. I'm like, yes, come on. Aelin and Rowan, I'm a bit like meh about, which, considering they're like the main characters, probably isn't the best. But yeah, I'm feeling very sort of impartial towards that whole situation. Like, it ended so cleverly, and like it ended so flipping cleverly with those two and where they've sort of ended up. But I'm just a bit like meh. Not too bothered about them either way. But Manon and Dorian and Aidan and Lysandra, I'm like, hell yeah, sister, let's do this. Let's keep them rolling. Let them be like a thing. Yeah, please, Sarah, please. I'm going very fast. As you can see, I have a lot of thoughts about this book and I'm very excited about this book, but now I'm a bit annoyed because I've got to wait another year, and if it's going to be any flipping bigger than this hunk of a book, that's going to be difficult to read. But yes, I'm sorry that I'm going quite fast. I'll try and slow down. So another thing that I love about this series is it was non-stop. Like, it wasn't sort of 500 pages of sort of slowness and then 200 of fast, go. It was 700 pages of go, action. It just did not stop, and I love that about this series. Like, I get bored so easily with books, and this, I was not bored once. There was a couple of storylines where I was like, I really don't care. So Elodie and Lorcan's bits, I was like, meh. But the majority of this, I was like, yes, keep reading. Like, I was up till 1:30 in the morning most nights reading this. I just loved it. It's action non-stop. There's battles, there's fights, there's court intrigue, there's sort of massive revelations. Like, one of the things I loved so much about Empire of Storms and Selena slash Aelin as a character is that she is so clever, and Sarah J Maas is so clever with her writing of this, that half the stuff that goes on you don't see coming because Aelin does it behind closed doors, and she does it without her court knowing, runs all of these sort of things in the background, and then they all come together at the end and you're like, say what? But I found this really clever. There was a point in this where I was like cheering, like I was like, yes, which was to do with the 13 and the Wavens and Braxos, and I was like, yes. But the action just does not stop. I'm loving seeing how sort of the magic of this and the fights and all that sort of thing weaves in together. It's so cool. As I say, it just does not stop this series, and I loved it. The action just keeps going and keeps going. And as much as there's bits of this where I'm like, I'm not necessarily looking forward to where it's going, there's a lot of this where I am. Like, the secondary characters are what I'm living for. Manon, Lysandra, Dorian, Aiden, like Fenris. I'm like, I want to know if you ever get out of what you're in. You know, am I that bothered about what's going to happen to Aelin and Rowan? Not really. But I'm like living for Manon and Dorian and Lysandra and Aiden, as I say, and I'm so excited to see where their storylines go. And obviously I then have to read it for Aelin as well. Like, I love her as a character. She's not my favourite, like she's definitely not. I do love her, but I think the other female characters and some of the male characters like Aiden and Dorian have just stolen the show for me in this, which is something which I love. Kind of reminds me a bit of Harry Potter, and how that Harry doesn't have to be your favourite character for you to love him, because the other secondary characters and the other primary characters are just incredible and they can be your favourites, and that's cool. So I feel like I've done a lot of talking. I have done a lot of talking. I've talked probably very, very fast, and I apologise. I have a lot of feelings about this book, as you can see. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. If you've watched all the way through this video and haven't read any of the Glass series, what are you doing? You need to go and check this series out. It's incredible. The first 2 books do not necessarily lay a great path into where the 3rd, 4th, 5th go to. I think the novella, the prequel novellas definitely help a lot, but the first 2 books and the 3rd, 4th and 5th often feel like a bit of a different series at times, simply because the world just expands so much and you learn so much more. But I cannot recommend this series enough. It's so great. If you love action, if you love fantasy, if you love kick-ass female characters, if you love something that just does not stop, Throne of Glass series and Empire of Storms are the ones for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Remember to like and subscribe if you did. And if you have thoughts about this book, if you've read this series, if you've read the book, let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know who your favourite character is, if you like Aelin, if you don't, how you're feeling about this series, how you felt about the book. Let me know in the comments. Again, remember to like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video, and I shall see you guys next time. Bye.